You know, it's probably safe to say that Muhammed Yunus is one of the most revolutionary thinkers in the world. And you know what? The Nobel Peace Prize he won a couple of years ago, well, that helps to prove it. Muhammed came up with an idea called microcredit. And microcredit has helped more than 7 million people in Bangladesh, which incidentally is one of the world's poorest countries. Here's Muhammad's story. Born in 1940 in what was then British India, in 1965 he went to America on a scholarship. He studied economics. Then in 1972, back to Bangladesh to support his country's newfound independence. But development was slow, so Muhammad decided to help get people out of poverty by using economics. So here's what he did. He traveled to tiny villages and found 42 people who were in debt. Together, they owed $27. So Muhammad loaned them the cash to pay off their debts. And suddenly, he had an idea. So he started his own bank. It's called the Grameen Bank, which means village, by the way. That bank gives credit to poor people, nearly all of them women, and they don't have to put up collateral. The idea is simple. Give someone a small loan, let them start a business, let them make some money, and pay back the loan in 6 months to a year. Now, microcredit is happening all around the world, but the story doesn't end there, and that's why he's here. Muhammad has a new plan, and he's laid it out in a new book called Creating a World Without Poverty, Social Business, and the Future of Capitalism. Ladies and gentlemen, Muhammed Yunus. You've got a new book.
Yes.
Last time you were on the show, you had just won the Nobel Prize.
That's right.
Have you had your absolute Motley Crue rock star year since you won the Nobel Prize?
It's still going on.
It's still going on. The book. I wanted to ask you a question because everybody has a dedication in a book.
Sure.
But your dedication in this book, Creating a World Without Poverty, is to everyone who wants to create a world where not a single person is poor. It's seemingly harmless, but it is not. It is forcing the reader to make a decision if they are the kind of person who is willing to want to change the world.
It's for him or for her,
right.
Whoever wants to do it.
And so when you set out to create this book, was it after years of experience where you thought, we can actually do this?
Absolutely, I have no doubt about that. It can be done soon. We can create a poverty-free world. All it needs, first of all, imagine that the world can be without poverty. Mm-hmm. And once we can imagine it, we can create it. Today, we don't imagine it. We think, oh, poor people will be with us, so what can I do? There's nothing can be done. Then we don't do it. So first, we have to believe that it can be done. Then the rest of the things will follow.
Yeah, I think a lot of people look at it when we hear these staggering numbers in terms of how many people are in abject poverty and just think it's an insurmountable feat. And what you've done in Bangladesh, obviously, bit by bit can be done. But social business is a part of this. Explain social business.
Yeah, social business, I'm proposing a new kind of business, which is slightly different from the present business. Present type of business is about making money. Mm-hmm. The mission of business is to maximize profit. So this business is all about me. I want to get everything out of the business. So I'm proposing a parallel business which is something for everybody, not for me, nothing for me. So it's dedicated to a social objective rather than my personal objective. It can be done. It's a non-loss, non-dividend company with a social objective. We created some of these companies ourselves. Mm-hmm. And one of the company which drew a lot of attention, and I wrote about it, is a joint venture company that we formed in Bangladesh with Danone. Danone is a French company. Which sells yogurt and many other things. We created this company, Grameen Danone company in Bangladesh, to sell yogurt, but this is for a social purpose. There are millions of children in Bangladesh who are malnourished. Mm-hmm. So what we have done, we took all the micronutrients which are missing in the children, malnourished children, vitamin, iron, zinc, iodine, and put it in this yogurt and make it very cheap. Once you intend to make something cheap, you really can make it and make it available to the poor children so that they can buy and eat it. And experts tell us that if a child, a malnourished child, eats 2 cups of this yogurt a week over a period of, say, 15 to 18 months, they regain all the missing macronutrients and they will be healthy.
So it's parallel to the other business, system that is currently in place.
Yes.
Are you... As you know, most companies' number one goal, in fact, all of them, is to increase the value of their share for the shareholder.
That's what the theory says. That's what they do.
So have you found that there is an appetite then for this social business?
Presently, I would say there is none expressed.
Yeah.
Because the world that we have created, the business world we have created, there is no door like that. Once you create the door, then you see how many people want to do that.
I mean, you've been doing this for a long time, and microcredit didn't just sort of happen when you won the Nobel Peace Prize. It was decades of work, and I wondered if you've noticed a change in approaching this reality, poverty. Have you noticed a change over the years?
Yes, very much. People paying attention, because today, if you mentioned the microfinance, it is expanding. It's just spreading all over the world. Every single country has some kind of microcredit program or another. We even started a program in New York City recently, in January. We call it Grameen America. And we are doing the same thing that we do in the villages of Bangladesh, exactly same thing in New York City, in Jackson Heights. Right now, there are more than 200 borrowers, all women. And they take income generating activity. In loan size is minimum they have taken so far $500. Maximum they have taken is $3,500. So with that money they can improve their income situation and so on.
Which is not out of line with how it's going in Bangladesh in terms of the majority of the people who are receiving the money are women.
Yes, 100%.
Why is that? Why is that?
We focus on women because it works so much better. Women can handle money better.
You don't know some of the women I know, Yunus. They do not.
When you are difficult,
yes.
When you are in difficulty, they bring their expertise in managing scarce resources, small resources, very efficiently. And they bring that efficiency in managing small resources with the money that we give. So they get the best mileage out of it. And when women start making money, the first beneficiary of her income is the children, right away. But it doesn't happen that way so quickly when the father is the income earner. So there are a lot of things very positive when you address the problem of poverty through women. And we have done that. As a result, we see a lot of impact in the families that we work with. Today, Grameen Bank has 7.5 million borrowers. 97% of them are women. And they own the bank.
That's a pretty good little setup, isn't it?
Yes.
One thing you do in this book here, you talk about, I mean, almost rules to join. To be like there's 16, is it 16 rules?
16 decisions,
right.
What we call. This is something which grew out of the Grameen Bank over years. Such as one of the such decision is we shall send our children to school and make sure he or she stays in school.
Another one is we will not live in a dilapidated house.
We'll build a new house.
Right.
And
why is that important?
This is important because the poor people live in kind of shacks, kind of dump. Which is not good fit for human living. So the fact that you raise in their mind that I can live better than this, and the first thing I do, clear it up, make it get better. So immediately psychological impact comes in. And we give them housing loan so that you go and build a new house for yourself. So that people start expecting things to happen to themselves. See, in poverty, almost all the doors and windows in your life are closed. You don't see any light of the day. So you live in a darkness of your hopelessness. There is no ray of hope. The moment you start opening a little bit of hope, people start waking up. So I can do it, I can make it. A little taste of success kind of enlivens you so much that you want to do more.
You know, when I was going through this book, one thing that struck me was it was kind of a neat little bridge between left-wing and right-wing values, which I think it matches how people are. I mean, there is the idea of community and a social net to take care of each other, but very conservative in that it's not about governments as much as it is about the individual being able to step up. Have you found that when you are taking this message to different countries, that has it played along party lines, or are you finding a different receptiveness to this in some parts of the world as opposed to others?
Most of the cases people say, hey, you come up with the idea where left and right and the center all eat from the same plate. Because after all, everybody's looking for solutions to poverty, to diseases, to helplessness, of disasters and so on. And you bring an idea anybody can use. Government can use the social business too. Social business is just not meant for only for private individual. Government can run the health sector, for example, in a beautiful social business way. Housing program in a social business way. Rather than having ministry, I have a company. Social business company. I created the company not to make money out of, is to serve the people for the good way.
Would you like to be our health minister here in Canada? It's good to see you.
You have a vacancy there?
I don't know. Nice to see you, Mohammed. Well done. Appreciate it. Muhammed Yunus. This is his book here. It's called Creating a World Without Poverty, Social Business, and the Future of Capitalism. Muhammed Yunus. We'll be right back. Traveled to tiny villages and found 42 people who were in debt. Together, they owed $27. So Muhammad loaned them the cash to pay off their debts. And suddenly he had an idea. So he started his own bank. It's called the Grameen Bank, which means village, by the way. That bank gives credit to poor people, revolutionary thinkers in the world. And you know what? The Nobel Peace Prize he won a couple of years ago, well, that helps to prove it. Muhammad came up with an idea called microcredit. And microcredit has helped more than 7 million people in Bangladesh, which incidentally is one of the world's poorest countries. Here's Muhammad's story. Born in 1940, nearly all of them women, and they don't have to put up collateral. The idea is simple. Give someone a small loan, let them start a business, let them make some money, and pay back the loan in 6 months to a year. Now, microcredit is happening all around the world, but the story doesn't end there, and that's why he's here. Muhammad has a new plan. In what was then British India. In 1965, he went to America on a scholarship. He studied economics. Then in 1972, back to Bangladesh to support his country's newfound independence. But development was slow. So Muhammad decided to help get people out of poverty by using economics. So here's what he did. You know, it's probably safe to say that Muhammed Yunus is one of the most